Welcome back to the channel, where we talk about stuff happening in the VTuber world. And today we talk about the host of things VTubers say, the enigmatic news VTuber Falseeyed. I will say it feels weird to talk about Falseeyed as the subject of the video instead of listening to Falseeyed talking about some other drama. Now Falseeyed wasn't the one in the wrong here. Nijisanji was the one who made the oopsie. You guys remember how during the Selentaski termination at the height of the Dokibird controversy, Falseeyed would promise to reveal the dirt he had on Nijisanji on April 2024. Initially, a lot of us thought Falseeyed had this giant bombshell revelation that he was going to drop on Nijisanji's heads. Then later on, Falseeyed would clarify that it was a nothing burger. False was really vague about what he was going to say in April, so the only thing we could do was just wait until April. April came and went, and Falseeyed didn't reveal what he promised on April. Just as some of us thought that maybe Falseeyed was just making a joke, the man himself would deliver. On the 1st of May, Falseeyed would drop a video titled Nijisanji Fires Off a Major Threat. In the video, Falseeyed would finally reveal what he promised to tell us on April. Nijisanji was threatening an anime convention called Weebcon because of a tweet Falseeyed made. This was a tweet that Falseeyed made last year, around April. So this is what happened. Falseeyed was just minding his own business. He finally sorted out all the copyright strikes that Nijisanji had sent to his channel, and he was going to Japan. This is where the anime convention came in. Weebcon was an anime convention that happens in Texas. At Weebcon 2023, there were a bunch of standees of VTubers scattered around the venue. And these standees were basically human-sized cardboard cutouts of everyone's favorite VTubers. Fans were having fun grabbing those cardboard cutouts and placing them in silly places and taking pictures of them. One of Falseeyed's fans would take Falseeyed's standee and place it in front of some Nijisanji VTuber standees. In the picture right here. The fan would upload the photo onto the internet. Falseeyed would see the photo and put it on his tweet before saying, "I came to the wrong neighborhood." This was all very innocent. Falseeyed didn't mean anything by this. Nijisanji thought differently. They were stalking Falseeyed's Twitter to see what he was saying about them. When Nijisanji saw this tweet, they were furious. They were so angry that they started threatening the anime convention itself instead of Falseeyed. One of Falseeyed's connections for Weebcon would reach out to False to explain the situation to him. Falseeyed would provide the Discord screenshots from last year. You can see False's Weebcon connection telling him about the situation. "Hey False, I wanted to relay some dumb politics to you. Weebcon is asking if you could possibly remove the post about being in the wrong neighborhood with the Nijisanji cast in the back. We don't care about any of that, but I guess they are threatening Weebcon hard with making sure they can't book Japanese voice actors and stuff next year. If the tweet is not taken down and stuff, it's up to you in the end, but they wanted to ask if that was possible and apologized for the annoying politics Niji is bringing to the event with this. They, referring to Weebcon right here, are working on cutting ties to Nijisanji so they won't be involved in 2024. Again, so sorry for being the middleman to give you this request. Weebcon said it's all up to you. It could be a possible empty threat, but that could hurt the convention a ton next year if it's not." Falseeyed would respond by saying, "Removed." False's contact would say, "Thanks a ton, False. They will be happy. We all know how annoying Nijisanji is, and that's why Weebcon is done with them after all of this. Also, I know you're going on a vacation, so I hope you have a very enjoyable vacation in Japan." And there you have it. That was the dirt Falseeyed had on Nijisanji from last year, which he promised to reveal on April 2024, but chose to reveal it on May 1st instead. I don't understand why Nijisanji did this. From what I saw, the tweet was harmless. I couldn't see why Nijisanji was so angry with it. It wasn't False's fault. He wasn't the one who put his own standee in front of Nijisanji's Illuna generation. It was some random fan at the convention. By the way, I want to say Weebcon takes place in Texas, and at this time, Falseeyed was in Japan. What Nijisanji had done was they were blaming someone in Japan for something someone else did in Texas. That's insane. Falseeyed would also clarify in his live streams, which I will show you later in this video, that the reason why he was going to reveal it on April was because he was waiting to see if Weebcon would keep their promises to cut off their ties with Nijisanji. Since the Nijisanji Weebcon incident happened last year around April 12th, a year from that should be April 2024. That was why False said he was going to reveal something on April, not because of the Dokibird controversy, but because of something he decided last year, before any of the Selentaski termination happened. Now I know all of you are going to watch Falseeyed's YouTube video anyway, so I won't show it here, but I know most of you won't watch False's VODs on Twitch, so that's what I'll be showing you today. This is Falseeyed discussing the Nijisanji Weebcon incident on Twitch.
Just gonna eyeball the connection. If we keep going down, I'll hold off on the tweet. Whew, we've already dropped 12% of our frames. That's terrible. Anyways, yeah. So, I saw someone in chat remember this tweet. You guys remember this tweet? From April 12th? I think it was from April 12th, April 11th, April 12th, depending on where you are in the world. I was literally off the plane and literally just hit the sack, and this thing posts out there on Twitter. I wake up hours later, blurry-eyed, and I have a Discord message. And I gotta admit, I'm kind of like with everyone else's reaction today, which is like, yeah, I'm not surprised. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Yeah. So the big thing, everyone's like, oh man, False has got this bombshell. And I was like, immediately, I was like, no. I told you guys, some of you guys are thinking this is gonna be a nothing burger. Some of you guys are gonna be like, that ain't anything. I saw some comments that are like, man, if this was dropped 3 months, 5 months ago, this would have been huge. I can't argue against that. But some people now say, now that I talked about it, it's more credible. Maybe more people would have maybe potentially questioned it. Now no one questions this. No one's questioning this at this point. It's pretty wild. It is pretty wild because it means a lot of things. There's a lot of implications with it. There's a lot of crazy implications with it. Stray Catalyst, thank you very much for the 5 gift subs. Thank you. Turn on the alerts here. Thank you for the 5. Thank you so much. Thank you for the 27 and all. Thank you. Your video solidifies how difficult Niji is to work with. Apparently, you know, these guys talk, dude. And for those who haven't seen the video, don't worry. I'll do a recap here for you in a moment. Don't worry. I'll get you caught up. You know, conventions talk with one another. And if they're playing this hard of ball with one convention, who's to say they're not going to do it to you too? Brady Boy, thank you very much for the 10 months. Thank you for almost a year. Thank you. Yeah, word gets around, man. Why did I have to wait so long for it? Because I just wanted to let Weebcon make their decision. You know, I could have immediately talked about it that same day, right? I could have just tweeted out, dude, you guys will never believe what I've been doing. And then when I get back from Japan, I could have streamed about it. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and let Weebcon make a decision. So I'm not going to talk about this until a year later. If Weebcon wants to invite Nijisanji back, I'm not going to say a word. That's fine. That's up to them. So I'm going to see what they do. And I waited until the event and after just to see what they do. And as we can see, Nijisanji did not return to Weebcon. So that held true that they were not interested in inviting them any longer, right? So, you know, if they wanted to, you know, welcome Niji back and go along with it, okay, that's their decision. But they didn't. And you damn well know I am posting this same tweet tomorrow morning. Everyone's like, oh man, False, you're so professional. Oh, False, you're so above it. No, I'm not. I'm going to post the same tweet tomorrow. You know I'm going to post the same tweet tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern Time, 6 a.m. Pacific. You know I am. I'm not above it. No way. All right. So I'll go ahead now and also post out the tweet for today's stream. Feel free to like this. Feel free to retweet this. There's the tweet for today's stream. Congratulations. We're live. And we also have the video tweet above that. Feel free to like that. Feel free to retweet that. That is appreciated. Thank you guys for that. So there's a bug in the RoboSoft. Hopefully our connection stays up here. So yeah, finally, you guys pushed me to finally talk about this in April. I know everyone's been talking about, he's got a giant bombshell. No, I never said it was going to be a bombshell, but it's really weird. So let me talk through this, and then we'll go through the rest of what we talked about here. So yeah, today's episode is Nijisanji. I'm not going to make any promises, but I do want to talk about other things in our next episodes. I made a lot of promises in the last 2 weeks I've not kept, meaning like more episodes, more streams. That's on me. I'm done making promises, but I do want to talk about other things, I swear. I just knew I had to get this one out before the end of April. Everyone was expecting it. So that's on me. So yeah, we talked about Nijisanji today, and we talked about something I've known about Nijisanji for a long time. It's a bit why I've not given Nijisanji as much benefit of the doubt as others, right? Like everyone's like, oh man, he's just angry because they struck his channel. Yeah, of course. But you know, people either forgot that or they lessened the impact. And it's like, no, they did that. They didn't apologize to me. They didn't make good on that. And then right after they did this crap, and I just held it in for a year. I knew what they were made of. I knew what they were pulling behind the scenes. And so I gave them less benefit of the doubt than others. And now that we're on the other side of February and March, and now April of 2024, far less people are surprised. Far less people are surprised that Nijisanji pulled something like this. So, what happened? Well, it involves a convention called Weebcon. They're an anime convention in Texas. They had one last year and this year pretty much around the same time, late March, early April. And there was a big difference between this convention and the last convention, which was this convention, there was no Nijisanji VTubers. There was a bunch of other VTubers, but no Nijisanji VTuber this time around. And I think we know why. I think we can take a stab as to why that was. So, because this involves me, which is weird. It's just weird. It's probably also why it took so long to talk about it. I don't like talking about myself. I don't like going over stuff like this, but here we are. So, I had a virtual appearance there last year at Weebcon, and I also had a stand alongside tons of other VTubers, just a cardboard cutout. And it just kind of became a thing where attendees were taking these VTuber stands and putting them all around the convention and having fun with them, and then borrowing them and bringing them back eventually. So some folks went ahead and made this photo. This is really cool. You got the big Weebcon background and all the Luna folks lined up next to each other, and someone got a little cheeky and took a picture of me real quick, and then immediately, removed it. It wasn't like they just put it up against there and kept it there. It wasn't like they, trashed the other stands or anything like that. It's a photo. It's a cheeky little photo, okay? And the only thing I can imagine is the seeming like disrespectful. I can kind of see that, it's like Nijisanji doesn't feel like Weebcon did a good job of like keeping their image, respected or something at the convention. That's the best defense I can come up with in my mind. But they so overplayed their hand on it. It's just, as everyone says, weirdly petty. It's weirdly petty. So I got this photo. I was like, that's funny. And I made a funny little tweet. And, it was a tweet I didn't really think much of, to be honest. It's a funny little tweet. It's a little haha, let's move on now kind of thing. This wasn't like, to hell with Niji. This was actually me like trying to like move on. That sounds ridiculous, but I mean it. Like, hey, we can kind of make fun of the situation, right? We can kind of laugh about this, right? We're over it. The strikes are gone. Nijisanji can continue on. I can continue on. And it's all good. No. Turns out we can't do that. So I'm in Japan, and so I can't stream. I don't really want to tweet very much. I just want to be on my vacation. Helping Hand, thank you very much for the 28 months. I think for over 2 years. Thank you. And so, I wake up my first morning in Tokyo. I'm ready to hit the country, and I get this. I get this Discord message, and it's through my contact to Weebcon. And as you can see, I removed other irrelevant information. That doesn't really matter. And they say, hey, False, I wanted to relay some dumb politics to you. And, I'm just hunched over on my hotel bed, and I'm like, what? Huh? What? It's like, this isn't registering like what I'm reading yet. Huh? What? Weebcon is asking if you could possibly remove the post about being in the wrong neighborhood with the Niji cast in the back. We don't care about any of that, but I guess they are threatening Weebcon hard with making sure they can't book Japanese voice actors and stuff next year if it's not taken down and stuff. And again, I'm like, huh? What? I haven't had my coffee. I'm in a foreign land. This is very disorienting to me. It's up to you in the end, but they wanted to ask if it's possible and apologize for the annoying politics Niji is bringing to this event with this. They are working on cutting ties to Niji so they won't be involved in 2024. Again, so sorry for being the middleman to give you this request. And so I'm like processing this still. Weebcon said it's all up to you. It could be a possible empty threat, but that could hurt the convention a ton next year if it's not. And it's sad, slight smiley fade, yeah. And I don't even think about it. I'm like, yeah, I just went out. I took this screenshot. You can tell I retweeted it. I took this quick screenshot on my phone, and then I immediately deleted it. It's just a tweet. Of course I can delete it. No way in hell do I want to interfere with Weebcon's business or how they can, book, people for their convention over a tweet of mine. Yeah, right. No, obviously I'm going to delete it. Clearly. But I'm glad they gave me the reasoning for it, and they were very open with this. So then it's thanks a ton, False. They will be happy. We all know how annoying amazing Niji is, and that's why Weebcon is done with them after all this. And that's kind of the message. That's it. So, on one hand, yeah, this isn't a big deal. It's just a dumb tweet. I deleted it. End of story, right? On the other hand, this is kind of a big deal. This is actually kind of a big deal because it's not just like targeting me. Okay, whatever. Who cares about me? They went and just straight up like threatened a convention and straight up said like, yo, all those Japanese voice actors you want to try to book, screw you. Which makes me think it's like, was Niji like going to pull strings? Because like, a part of it is like, was that an empty threat or could they do something like that? Could this be a thing where it's like, Japanese companies being buddy-buddy with Japanese companies? I don't know, dudes. I mean, I wasn't going to chance it here, obviously. How would they do that? I mean, it's go along to get along sometimes with these Japanese companies. How buddy-buddy are they with each other, right? If you look at some of the investors, yeah, some of them are in the entertainment industry. Some of the big investors that have a lot of stocks in the company and so on and so on. And you just make business connection, you make friends and things like that, right? So I don't know what they could pull. I mean, I want to think it's an empty threat, but on the other hand, it's like, why chance it? So just delete the tweet and move on. But I knew, I was like, in the back of my head, I'm like, we're going to give them 1 year. Weebcon gets to pull their card, and then I get to finally talk about this because people should know. People should absolutely know that this tried to got pulled. This, even if they didn't try to actually stop it, the fact that they threatened it alone is just, it's just heinous, it's petty, it's so many things. It's so many things. And if conventions don't know before, they should know now. If you want to do business with Nijisanji, here's what they're going to pull on you if something goes wrong. If there's one little social media tweet they don't like, they're gonna threaten your whole convention, dudes. Do you think any of the conventions will act based on the story being out now? I mean, possible. Again, these guys talk with one another. Isn't that blackmail? I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. Maybe a lawyer can answer that question. Wink wonk. But Raven, thank you very much for the Prime. Thank you for the 2 months. Thank you. Thank you for the 2 months. Thank you. So, yeah, on one hand, I'm right with you guys. This is a nothing burger. It's just a dumb tweet, whatever, move on. On the other hand, it's like, hold on, wait. What were they going to do? What were they threatening to do? That's where it just took me a long time to understand what this message was when I was reading it. Yeah. And I think it starts to talk about maybe other, when you start to look at what is happening out there with Nijisanji and other conventions, it's like, I don't know, man. Maybe they're cutting them loose because they're just difficult to work with. Maybe it's because of the reasons they said. It brings about speculation. It can't do anything but bring about speculation when you see something like this. I work from conventions. Weebcon is scared of a ghost. Niji only has power over their own talents. Cross our fingers. I hope that's true. Falseeyed. Weebcon also ask you not to talk about it. No, as you can see here, they were cool with me keeping the tweet up and they didn't ask me not to talk about it. No, I just did that because I didn't really want to get in the way of, what they would try to pull or try to set up for 2024. So I just kept my mouth shut. And then a few weeks ago, I was like, to my contact here, I was like, hey, I'm going to talk about this, by the way. So, man, it just, I don't know. It's very messed up. Yeah. It's just saying Nijisanji threatens Weebcon by saying they will actively try to sabotage Japanese video. I don't know. I don't know what the hell they were going to try to pull. No, this is not our cross our fingers. They literally have no power over the booking agencies. I'm hoping. I don't know. Publicly traded multi-billion-dollar company. Who knows? But